If your garage door has an extension spring lifting system and there is not a safety cable running through the center of the spring, it's a good idea to install one. The steel used to make the springs has a lifespan, and eventually that spring will break. And when it breaks, if there's not a safety cable running through it, it could fly around your garage and damage your car, or maybe something in the garage, or maybe you. I'll show how to install a safety cable. Ready-made safety cables can be purchased. There'll be a loop on one end and a cable adjustment clip on the other. Measure the height of your door so that you purchase the correct length of cable. Disconnect the power from the opener. Disconnect the door from the opener. Manually raise the door and then use a pair of locking pliers and clamp them on the track just below the bottom roller of the door. When the door is open, there is very little tension on the springs, and with the power off to the opener and the door clamped, it is safe to install the safety cables. Use the loop end and fasten the cable to the hanger. Pass it through the loop. And ideally, you would like this end of the safety cable to be closely in line with the spring. Make sure that you pass the cable through this loop end, because often it's at this spot where the spring will break. Then pass the cable through the center of the spring. Come out the other end of the spring and through the loop. The end on the hanger should look like this. Attach the other end of the cable to the horizontal angle iron that's at the opening of the door. Usually it works to attach it in this very end hole right here, but depending on your set up your door, you may have to adjust it and terminate it back further on the angle iron. If you're able to use the cable adjustment clip, use a bolt and nut and fasten it to the angle iron. If the cable is too long, you'll have to cut it at the end that has the cable adjustment clip attached to it. Buy a wire rope clip and use it to terminate this end of the cable. Tuck away any loose cable ends so they don't get caught when the door is open and closed. If you need to cut the safety cable and you don't have a pair of cutters, you'll need a hammer and a cold chisel. If you don't have a cold chisel, it's cheaper to buy a cold chisel, maybe $5 or $6 as opposed to a cable cutter. Wrap 2 pieces of electrical tape on each side of where you want to cut the cable. Place the cold chisel in between the 2 pieces of tape and give it a good whack. And now you've got a nicely cut cable. When the safety cable is installed, it should be fairly tight and below the lifting cable and the pulley on the end of the spring. Repeat the process and install the safety cable onto the spring on the other side of the door. Remove the locking pliers. Manually open and close the door slowly several times, and make sure that the lifting cables and pulleys aren't getting tangled up with the safety cable. You may have to adjust the length of the safety cable to get things to work properly. Reconnect the door to the opener. Reconnect power. I hope you found this video helpful. A thumbs up is always appreciated. Click on the channel name Know How Now to find other videos. And thanks for watching.